So now we are going to mix the extra vocals. We are processing them separately from all of the other vocals because they are actually from a different singer. So let's have a listen to them. So there are two. There's this ooh sound, which actually sounds like Emma, but it's not. And that just brings in a bit of extra depth at the chorus. So it's more atmospheric. Now you could actually choose to completely drop that from the mix, because part of mixing is deciding what stays and what goes, and sometimes there are superfluous elements that the mix would be stronger without. However, I like this because I wrote it, so I want to keep that in the mix, but it does need some work. If we listen, I can already hear some strange kind of resonant frequency, so I'm going to go in with the reductive EQ and just sweep around until I can find that frequency I don't like. And we can actually use the spectrum analyzer to see where these problems might be. Well, firstly we're going to get rid of that low end sub frequencies that we just know we don't need. Okay, let's have a slightly steeper curve there. Now I can hear that actually lots of those problem frequencies are right down low. But there's still a bit there, so we're going to do quite a narrow curve. And that's about 5Q setting, and we're going to sweep up and down until we find it. Well, I can hear that that's definitely an issue, so we can take a couple of dB off there. So this is without it. It's this kind of boxy resonant frequency that is just going to spoil the mix. In fact, more could come off. And an EQ is in effect kind of like micro mixing, but instead of faders with different channels, you've just got faders with different frequencies. So we can hear, if I just bring this up slowly, we can decide how much or how little of that frequency we want to be in our song. So we can see it's much more level now, much even. Let's turn it off and see what happens. There's a big spike there, resonant spike. So now let's listen to it. Now it's not clashing with our main vocals, which is exactly what we want. Now we don't need to do much else to this. We might add sidechain compression if we want, but what we are going to do is we're going to gel it into the mixing space with a bit of reverb. And we'll be working out exactly how we want our reverbs a little later in the process, because they could do with some refining, so we will be looking at that in a couple of lessons' time. And these are really far back in the mix, so we want quite a lot of reverb and just a low level. And let's listen to the song without the backing vocals in, or without these extra vocals, sorry, and then bring them in and see what the difference is. So without. just one of those elements that just give a bit more body to the mix, make it sound fuller without cluttering it up, because we've done the work we need to remove the frequencies that are going to clash with our main elements. And the second extra vocal is a sample from an old 70s record with lots of reverb already put on it in the music production stage. So that's very simple. We just need to check there aren't any undue frequencies. And there is some low information there that we definitely don't need. And that should be it. I mean, because it's quite an old sample, it sounds quite crunchy anyway. We don't want to be adding any more saturation, although you could tweak some in if you like. But we're just going to bring that in slowly with the rest of the mix until it's at the level we like. Checky and mono, yeah, that sounds good to me. So that is the extra vocals in this track done. In the next lesson we are going to look at the ad-lib vocals of Emma, and also the vocal delays. We could have done that before these extra vocals stage, but it doesn't matter too much because they're all quite low in the mix. So I will see you in the next lesson.